Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Should have been read. Today I'll be doing my February TBR. Before I get started, if you're new to this channel, please don't hesitate to subscribe down below as well as the notification bell. And if you're new, hi, hello, I'm Stephanie and I do a lot of bookish content. And I will first off say I have been doing a really fucking solid job for my January TBR. I'm on my last book and technically I'm pre-filming this right now. I still have about like a week or so left before the end of the month. So honestly, doing pretty fab, not gonna lie, about my progress so far, and I might actually read more than my initial TBR, but very happy over that. But yeah, let's just start with my February TBR with my book club pick. So for the month of February, we're going to be reading Here One Moment by Liane Moriarty. This one is, I do like her books for the most part. There's been a couple that's been like about it, but this one I'm excited for. This one came out last year in September. I got it during ALA, I believe. I have no idea what this book is about, but it says, if you knew your future, would you try to fight fate? And it says, aside from a delay, there will be no problems. This flight will be smooth. It will land safely. Everyone who gets on the plane will get off, but almost all of the net will be forever changed. And because on this short domestic flight, something extraordinary happens, people learn how and when they're going to die. For some, their deaths are far in the future, and they laugh. But for 6 passengers, their predicted deaths are not far away at all. A few months later, one passenger dies exactly as predicted, then 2 more passengers die again. Soon, no one is thinking this is simply an entertaining story at a cocktail party. So I am really intrigued by the premise of this book. It sounds fascinating, and I cannot wait to read this along with my book club members. All right, moving to my actual prompt. So I have over here my little wheel, doing 5 prompts this time as usual. And then of course my TBR jar. First prompt is tofu. Okay. Book written by an author under the age of 30. Okay. That's gonna do some sleuthing on my side to see which author is under 30 years old, because I don't really know at the top of my head. All right, so I found the book that I want to read for book written by an author under 30. This was actually a little bit harder than I expected because not every author has their age on public display or like public knowledge, but I did manage to find the author for the age for this author, and that is Bingsu for Two by Susan Witherspoon. According to an article that I saw from like this year or last year, she's 22 years old. So this is her, I think, her debut novel. I got this from ALA, and it's supposed to be a very cute young adult romance, enemies to lovers, coffee shop romance. And it follows a guy, his name is River Langsty Lee, where in 24 hours he dumped his girlfriend, walked out of his SAT, and quit his job at his parents' cafe in a spectacularly disastrous fashion even for him. Somehow he manages to talk away into a gig at a failing Korean cafe, Bingsu for Two, which is his lucky break until he meets a short, grumpy and goth Sorang Cho. And now she's determined to make his life hell as she is to save her family's cafe. After he accidentally uploads a video of his chaotic co-workers to his popular fandom account, they strike viral fame. The kicker? The new fans ship the two of them big time. So now they have to pretend that they are dating in a way. Obviously, you know, enemies to lovers. We're very excited about this one. Moving on to prompt number 2. Book with a protagonist who has a different cultural background than your own. Okay. I mean, that's easy enough. For the book of a protagonist of a different cultural background, I'm going to go with The Blood Trials by Annie Davenport. This one, obviously, so because February is Black History Month, I did want to kind of prioritize a bit on Black authors, Black protagonists, so I chose specifically this book for that. It says, I would not break or fail in what comes next. I'm proud of who I am. It's supposed to be a futuristic tech with a historical fantasy backdrop. Very intrigued. I've heard good things about this book in general. Now we're on to prompt number 3. Oh, this one. Bookshelf generator. Specific shelf and a number. Yeah, let me get my phone for that one. Bookshelf generator, my most favorite prompt, to be quite honest. Not. So I have 6, 24, I think 34 shelves. So I have my number generator on here. Generate shelf number 29. 29, let's see. I think it's that bottom shelf, which means there's probably like 20 books on there, 25 books. All right, generate the second one. 17. All right, let me go to that shelf and I will be right back. All right, so I went to the shelf and I found this book. It's called The Spirit Bares Its Teeth by Andrew Joseph White. This is one I got from LA. For those who have not watched my LA book haul, I'll link that above and down below. I got a shit ton of books there. I do plan to be in LA again for 2025, but I haven't purchased anything yet or booked anything yet, but that's the plan for now. But yeah, this is the book that I got. I'll be honest, I'm not super interested in this book right now. Like, it does not seem up my alley. Obviously it did at that time. It's supposed to be a transgressive gothic horror, and it says Mors Vincit Omnia, Death Conquers All. It's set in London in 1883. The veil between the living and death has thinned. Violet-eyed mediums commune with spirits under the watchful eye of the Royal Speaker Society, and 16-year-old Silas Bell would rather rip out his violet eyes and become an obedient speaker wife. According to Mother, he'll be married by the end of the year. It doesn't matter that he's needed a decade of tutors to hide his autism, that he practices surgery on slaughtered pigs, that he's a boy, not the girl the world insists on seeing. Interesting. Okay, it says, after a failed attempt to escape an arranged marriage, he's diagnosed with veil sickness, a mysterious disease sending violet-eyed women into madness, and shipped away to Braxton's finishing school and sanatorium. When this ghost of missing students starts begging him for help, he decides to reach into Braxton's innards and expose its guts to the world, if the school doesn't break him first. Actually, this sounds a lot more promising than I initially anticipated, so getting more excited about this one. Now we're on to prompt number 4. Book with a cover featuring a cityscape. Okay. I don't know why I feel like I just had this one recently. But yeah, let me find a book. Then for the cityscape book, I'm gonna go with The Lies of Locke Lamora. This is by Scott Lynch. There is a cityscape-esque image here. It kind of looks like Venice because of the water and stuff, but I don't know. And it's book 1 in the Gentleman Bastard sequence. It says the Thorn of Kamar is said to be an unbeatable swordsman, a master thief, a friend to the poor, a ghost that walks through walls. Locke Lamora is much to his annoyance the fabled Thorn. And while he does indeed steal from the rich, the poor never sees a penny. All of his gains are strictly for himself and his tight-knit band of thieves. But when a clandestine war is threatening to tear apart his city, the home that he's ever known, he's caught up in a murderous game, and suddenly he and his friends are suddenly struggling just to stay alive. I've heard really good things about this book in general, like over the years, so I'm excited. I would say high fantasy these days are not the biggest for me, but I'm curious. Now we're on to our final prompt, prompt number 5. POC representation. All right, that is, again, easy enough. Let me be right back. All right, then my last book in my prompt is to read a book with POC representation. Like I said earlier, it's Black History Month, prioritizing some Black authors. So I'm gonna go with Blood Scion by Deborah Falaye. I'm hoping I pronounced the last name correctly. This one is another fantasy-esque book. It says, I am the descendant of Shango, the god of heat and fire. I'm a living inferno, I'm a dead girl walking. 15-year-old Sloane can incinerate an enemy at will. She's a scion, a descendant of the ancient Orisha gods. But under the brutal laws of Lucius, her identity means her death. Her mother knew as much, so she disappeared trying to hide Sloane's truth. Sloane too has hidden her abilities, but on her 15th birthday, she is conscripted into the Lucius army. Once taken, she must not only conceal her power, but overcome the bloody challenges of Lucius training. Interesting. I also have this art print, as well as the fact that this is technically a Fairly edition. This is back when they had like very basic editions, so it just had regular sprayed edges, nothing crazy. Even like the inside is just this, it's nothing crazy. And it has this. This is probably like the most exclusive part, is the bare cover. But yeah, I'm excited for this one. All right, so now moving on to my actual TBR jar. I'm gonna pick, because I feel like the books here, there's like 1 or 2 that I'm like less interested in. I'm gonna pick 2 for my TBR. That way I have backups, if that makes any sense. So here's my TBR jar. let's find 2 books on here. I also have 2 books from my list. One was the Bingsu for Two, as well as Lies of Locke-Lamora. They're both on my top 25 books to read in 2025. So at least I have some progress there. Alright, so the first one I got is Bingsu for Two. So I guess I really do need to read it this month because I got it again in this slip. Alright, let me see what the next one is before I decide if I pick another one, because I already have Bingsu for Two. Okay, this one says Fragile Threads of Power. Okay, that's a chunker. Let me get that first. Alright, because Threads of Power is a really fat book, I think I'm gonna just end with this book because this is a chunker. It looks huge. It actually is only just over 500 pages, like 550 or so, but it feels and looks a lot fatter than that. But this is supposed to be a continuation of Darker Shades of Magic series. This is set like years later. I want to say 7 years later. 7 years later. And it follows 2 characters, but I believe Lila is supposed to be in here, as well as Kel. So I don't know like if there's gonna be other characters or anything like that, but I'm excited for it. Also, the cover is stunning, this edition. I have the Illumicrate edition, so it is really pretty. This is the inside. Stunning. Like, look how beautiful this is. Also, it's signed too. It's not even a digital signature, so that's really cool. But yeah, so these are all the books I'll be reading for this month. I'm gonna admit there is 1 or 2 books in here, like I said, that I'm not super enthused about, but that being said, I still have high hopes for it regardless because I've heard good things. So we'll see how these goes, but honestly, not a bad stack. Like, there are books in here that I'm really interested in, and then there's like 1 or 2 that I'm like, about. Anyways, let me know down below which books are you planning to read for the month of February. Have you read any of these books before? If you have, what you guys think about them. As always, if you like this video, please do give me a thumbs up. It really does help my channel. And if you see more content of me, please don't hesitate to subscribe down below, as well as the notification bell. And as always, don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!